That should do it. Oh, good. Okay, here's everybody. Good morning. Sorry for that feedback thing, but that's a little bit indicative of how my mind is working. So before we go any further, let's just meditate and then we'll talk about it. Okay. So, but I will say I had a bad cold and I'm coming out of it. My energy's back today, so here I am. So let's meditate. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. It's really, really quite wonderful. So take your attention inside and pull your awareness down to the tip of your tailbone and just drop everything down there. So it's as though you're sitting on your mind, which is a good thing to do because very often our mind is the last place that should be running the show. And that understanding, like really understanding that, can free us to live from a different place in ourselves. So hold your attention down there. In the beginning, it's like being a bobber. If you've ever fished, the bobber is the thing that floats on the water. And when a fish takes your line, the bobber goes under. Well, and no matter how much, because it's full of air, it will keep bobbing up to the surface unless there's huge pressure on it. So we want it to just drop as though it's full of water, so there's nothing to hold it on the surface. Mind goes deep. And immediately you might feel your head just relax when you let the mind fall out. And believe me, it won't go anywhere. It'll bounce right back the second you allow it. And have that feeling of your mind being at the bottom of the ocean. And whatever happens on the surface doesn't matter. And now just very simply insert the Om sound in your mind in that energy center between the breaths. And just repeat it a few times. And very often what arises as we begin our meditation is what they call online FOMO, fear of missing out. We have this feeling that if we really put our attention deeply, that we're going to miss something important. The truth is, if we don't put our attention deeply, we will miss the most important thing available to a human being. Now take your attention to the energy center below your belly button. And in the space between the breaths, insert the Om sound mentally. And allow yourself, with your attention there completely, to fully experience this energy center. And fully experience means just allow the spaciousness. And any thought that arises, just let it go its merry way. It's just trying to distract you into FOMO. Hold your attention to that Om sound in the space of the awareness of the energy center below your belly button. And when you're ready, gently guide your attention to the energy center in the solar plexus. Insert the Om sound mentally into that space. Gently allow your attention to move up to your heart center. That was a little too fast. Let's go back to the solar plexus. Sorry, my own mind isn't very settled. Solar plexus, Om sound. Okay, let's move to the heart center if we didn't already. And between the breaths, insert the Om sound silently. When you're ready, move your attention to the third eye. And feeling the Om sound expand between your breaths in the third eye. And at a certain point, your own awareness will come out the top of your head and you'll become aware of the circulation of the energetic flow in and around your physical body. And then you can let the Om sound completely inform all of your awareness of this flow. And you can open every cell in your body to this awareness, which is completely purifying and cleansing and elevating everything about you and your experience. And make sure that your entire being is completely relaxed into this experience. There's no holding anywhere, keeping you from experiencing this complete flow. Just let go and feel into the Om. Everything you need will be empowered, and everything that no longer serves will drift away effortlessly. Release yourself into the Om sound. There is no possibility that this is not a completely wonderful thing for you to do. When you're ready, allowing yourself to completely inhabit this space, gently and slowly, at your own pace, open your eyes, holding to this awareness. And being in two places and nowhere at all. So we were down with a cold for a week. And didn't do anything, couldn't do anything except be at peace with that and allow the phlegm to roll as it does. And yesterday the energy started to come back, and today it's, there's still a little minor congestion, but nothing like the rest of the week. And there's energy, so everything's possible when there's energy, and nothing when there's not. So But we did, of course, keep our finger in astrology the whole time and learn some important personal insights. And that is for the next almost 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. I, Rebecca, am in uh, a part of my, the dasha system is the cycles of the planetary influences as we go through our life. And because of the planets that are amplified in my life for the next 2 years, they are located in places in the chart that are what the Vedic ancients say are ruinous. And the planets are Mercury, Rahu, and Ketu. And all three of them are heightened in this period, which means that I cannot trust my mind for the next 2 years. It's untrustworthy. Just simply, Mercury is the planet of rational thinking, and Rahu and Ketu are both completely irrational. One is insatiable desire, and it is the most powerful of the two. And, there are all kinds of reasons. There are like at least 4 reasons why these planets are completely empowered at this time. And it would be folly to trust my own mind. So this is a very interesting discovery to make about oneself. And, it feels because of the guides that it's a unique period to just say the Mrityunjaya mantra all the time and stop thinking. Because knowing that the thoughts are going to be damaging to my life, it's an important time to not think them. So that seems to be the only rational solution is to say mantra all the time and understand that what's going through my mind is not important or anything worth listening to. Now, I'm not saying that this is true for anybody else because, the way the planets are, we all have these strong influences at different times. And most people's charts are not they don't have as many negative influences as my own. And, the great benefit of having a difficult chart is that you get sent to spirituality early because you try to figure out why you're so miserable. And so this is sort of, another way of looking at the story of one's life. And I'll say in an autobiographical way, one of the most important moments of my life was when I was 29 years old. My mother suicided, and I sat down and said, I don't understand anything about why I'm here. And this behavior of hers shows me that my early support system didn't have any understanding about why I'm here either. And so I need to start over with the intention to discover what's really important in this life. And having that understanding, that glimpse of understanding in that moment is what brought me personally to this moment of understanding that everything that's happening in my mind for the next 2 years is untrustworthy. And so having it be that clear that there's no alternative but to Triambakam yajamahe sugandim pushtivartanam orva rukamiva bandhana mrichur mricham shiva ritata. Andrew's finishing it. See, I can't even remember the mantra. So I'm going to have to write it down and put it on the mirror so that when I look in the mirror, I see the mantra. And that will remind me that this is my life purpose right now. So having said all that, the guides are here and quite, they've already been speaking, but in a very, very personal way. So let's open the program to you and them, and I'll see you later. How may we serve today? What can we do for you? Yes. Can't hear you yet.
She's on mute.
Are you?
I got it.
Good.
It was at the bottom instead of the top.
Oh yeah, sometimes that happens.
First time. Well, it's quite a time we're in right now. I mean, I'm thinking about all the fires and election stuff, and I've been working very deeply with this new therapist of mine, and happened to be going through a very kind of traumatic time back when I worked with this shaman who used his power over not only myself, but everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really deep and just troubling as I work through this whole process of journaling about him, and actually working in the Anasa temple, and it was a traumatic time, and just working my way through it, and so vulnerable, a place that I didn't have a sense of myself at all. So it's been it's been pretty tumultuous, just all at this same time. I think it's on task, and for some reason, certainly for my clearing, and my ownership of myself uh, at this time, which it has been happening. And it's just been miserable, I say, in myself, and and coming to peace with myself, and forgiving myself for thinking there's anything I had done wrong. So it's just the time of processing and owning myself in a deeper way that I haven't ever happened before. So
Well, is this the time for us to speak?
yeah, good,
Okay. So,
please.
first of all, we're going to say that we don't see misery or
Ah,
feel misery in being with you in this moment, that we don't experience any of that. So the surus is, turbulence that comes with these experiences, that is very undermining in a way in the moment because it kicks up all this dust, this
yeah,
turbulence in us.
yeah,
And, we tend to label that as misery. But if you
mm-hmm,
actually look at what's happening,
mm-hmm.
you look grounded and clearer, like this deep layer of dust is getting kicked up and resolved.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It does feel that way.
So this is huge, and
Good
understand that
too.
it happens in layers, you
Yeah.
know. So when it comes, this has been a theme in your life for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to use this as an example of a greater principle that we're, really working with astrologically, and that is the idea that the natal chart, the configuration of the planets when we come in, represents the karma that we have decided to explore and evolve through in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's a map of that karma, and that understanding that karma and working with it rather than
Yeah.
fighting against it
Yeah.
is how we rise above it. And there is certainly room for every kind of help that we can get in that endeavor, which is mantra, understanding, actually going to an astrologer and understanding our chart. Um, uh, Therapy is invaluable because
Yeah.
we get a person who is trained to listen to our deepest darkness and
Yeah.
help us out of those corners we've painted
Yeah.
ourselves into.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what therapy is about, if you can
Yeah.
find a good therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and um, that's it for the moment. And so we're going to take this minute to announce that we have decided to start taking clients to read astrology charts. That
Oh.
we've been studying long enough that just taking one chart a week and really thoroughly um, trying to explain it. And so we're going to offer it to you guys first.
Thank you.
Um, uh, because it's time
Mm-hmm.
and definitely needed.
Yeah.
And it's time for Rebecca to make this shift in her experience. And it's just a blessing of her teacher.
Yes.
And so,
Yes. That's wonderful. You have an awful lot to share.
yeah, well, it's not going to be exactly cheap,
Uh-huh.
but we haven't figured out the number yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Um,
Good.
but it's been more than 5 years of study, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we're ready to begin to roll it out because having seen, the first thing one has to understand as an astrologer is one's own chart.
Mhm.
And when you get to the point that you see the only use of your mind is to work for other people.
Mhm.
So this is the flip side of not being able to trust the mind, is the only place it's reliable is in service to others.
Mhm.
And so cultivating all these skills has been about that.
Mhm.
And so it's time to put the mind to work in the place where it can be helpful. And
Mhm.
that's only to other people.
Mhm.
So that's what this is. That's the flip side of these horrible planets.
Mhm. Well, that's beautiful, really.
Yeah, that's the boon. But in any other place, trying to think about how to benefit me, this is
Uh-huh.
not
Okay.
gonna happen. So thank you. They are telling me how to proceed in this moment in case you're
Oh,
not noticing.
oh.
So so it's kind of it's such an incredible moment to see the convergence of the internal gurus with the external understanding in this moment of what is appropriate use of energy for this body,
Mm-hmm. Well,
body, mind, spirit configuration.
yeah, yeah.
So the number's $195.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I also, I've been sensing this is karmic and there's something really important in all of this. And I must say, I am feeling much more stable, just recently, uh, in seeing all of this and just culminating in grace and gratitude and for this moment that is bringing me so much closer to myself. So
Yeah, the great gift of a difficult life,
yeah,
of difficult karma,
yeah,
is that in trying to understand it and trying to work through it and saying, okay, I'm here, so here, give me the shovel. I'm willing to do the work, just give me the tools.
yeah.
And and in having that understanding, we
Mm-hmm.
attract what it is we need to move
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, we can say, oh, this is actually a gift. It's not the gift that I thought my life was going to be. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not famous. I'm not the greatest cellist in the world. I'm not, and, 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 and,
But I am the greatest human being I can be.
but it's always, I'm the greatest human being I can be in this moment.
Yes.
Because we have to renew our commitment every moment. It's
Yeah.
not something we can say, oh, I lived in an ashram for 30 years, therefore I know something about spirituality.
That's really true.
That
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
It is, the moment to moment commitment that we make to be the finest person we can be. And it, it is it opens us to magic and mystery and miracle that is beyond our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And, understanding that looks like the darkest thing we've ever seen. And on the inside of that is the gift of allowing Anasa to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding the mind is of no use here
Right.
except for others.
Mm-hmm.
And the personality is just going to be completely crazy. So, let the guides come through. They are the real thing here, not the mind, for sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. One of the gurus we've had in our lives used to say the mind is a dangerous thing, and just end the sentence there.
Yeah.
Because it can take us all kinds of places we don't really want to go. And most of the time, we don't discover it until we're there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to take you back to a moment in the meditation this morning when we were concentrating on the solar plexus and we went there, and suddenly the mind skipped to the heart immediately without actually allowing it to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And we caught it and moved it back. Well, that catching of yourself, when the mind does that cultivating that ability to catch yourself
Ah,
and go back, usually the mind bounces like that because there's some realization about to happen
mm,
that you don't know if you're ready for or not, or that
right.
some subconscious resistance is in there. And so in catching yourself in the moment when your mind flits like that, you
Yeah.
catch it and you bring it back, those are precious moments. That's a precious moment because it's your willingness
Mm,
to see the mind
yeah.
in its, never-ending attempts to be the ruler we've trained it to be.
Right. Right. And
So, yeah.
that's what is the problem. We've trained it. Well, it's had a lot of energy.
Well, from
That's
the
for sure.
minute we arrived, that was our training.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no failure in that moment.
Yeah.
The gift is to see it and to constantly cultivate our seeing it, because that's catching ourselves and, you know, promoting the self-awareness that we are cultivating. We're so grateful to be with you this
Thank
moment.
you. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
you're so welcome. We just treasure our time with you. Understanding very deeply that quantity has nothing to do with anything, that cultivating quality in every moment is what we're doing. We also want to let you know that we are woefully negligent in responding to people's generosity through Anasa, and that we want you to know that we are completely grateful for every kind of donation that comes our way, that it's not something we ever take for granted, and we want to acknowledge how amazing and wonderful it is to, feel rewards in every dimension for our availability, and that this is noticed and appreciated, and we're so, so grateful. And, generosity beyond expectation is our experience, and we're just so, so grateful for it. And the biggest thing is that you come here and participate. It's just so amazing and wonderful because there's this reciprocal flow that builds for all of us in our participation. And, we are needed, all of us, so much in this world now, and it's going to become more and more apparent how and why. And there is no second guessing or predicting how that's going to play out. It's not it's not a place where we put our attention. We just continue to focus on what's really important, deepening our practice, widening our understanding of really the simplicity and beauty of our participation in life, and the understanding that all the complexity is the mental kaleidoscope that's trying to distract us from the most important and deepest awareness that's possible for each of us. And the connection to that pure raw love that in itself is great simplicity. And that when we use our contact with that as our guiding light, our life becomes magic, mystery, and miracle.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to say thank you as well, and for your efforts and for showing up and offering all of this and your service. And to to recognize being of service and this time that seems to be uh, really charged. I I've been thinking about Kumbh Mela in India.
Mhm.
There's about 70 million people gathering.
Yes.
70 million, that's almost as twice as much as the whole population of California. So there was a a sadhu, a tantrika actually, who said that the coming together it, the is important, to be united is important. And um yeah, and in some ways that's kind of what we're doing in here or doing here. And I guess I'm curious what Anasa's thoughts are on what's happening currently at this time in the world and how Kumbh Mela is a part of that, um, and how the coming together is relevant or important or how it plays into it all.
Well, we'll speak a little bit about this in terms of the microcosm and the macrocosm, because when you look at it from that perspective, you can see that Kumbh Mela, 70 million people, and they come together. Um, we know that it has something to do with the fact that Jupiter is in Taurus. But we haven't explored the astrological significance of Kumbh Mela yet. But now that you've asked the question, we will, because we know that the planning and the timing of it has everything to do with Jupiter's location. And the actual well, we won't say any more about it because we don't know astrologically the significance of it or how it's derived, but we will research it and speak soon about that. But what we will say about the microcosm and macrocosm is that this is a demonstration of the meaning of the word Sangha. Sangha is spiritual community, and it has nothing to do with the size of spiritual community. It has to do with the necessity of having a practice that we share with others, and that in that sharing, we renew our commitment on a regular basis to understanding ourselves and our place in the multiverse, and renewing our commitment to what is to understanding and being in alignment with that which is greater than the sum of all the parts, all the people who have decided to be committed to that understanding. And in every way that we can participate, 70 million people demonstrating their commitment to becoming the highest person they can be. That's what Kumbh Mela is about. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It expands whatever it touches. So this means that when Jupiter is powerful in the sky, which it is very powerful right now, it's important that we expand the parts of us that we want to be expanded, not the parts of us that our material being wants to expand. So it's important that our commitment be to this harmony itself, not to anything else. Anything else will distract that energy into whatever it is we're thinking about expanding. This is why when our mind is messed up and we know it, we have to say mantra so that our mind is broadcasting that which we are committed to. So we'll say it like that. And the Kumbh Mela is a demonstration to all of us that this is happening on the macrocosmic level on our planet, regardless of what our individual experience or fear of what is happening. You know, it's a graphic demonstration that there is a major part of humanity that is dedicated to alignment with the highest best for the whole. And that is what the Kumbh Mela is about. It's about a celebration of humanity on the planet, attempting to be in alignment with the highest power that the multiverse has to promote in terms of being in harmony with the entire whole, which includes the natural life of our planet. And so that there are 70 million people doing this all at the same time has enormous power. And the fact that we are sitting here doing the same thing is broadcasting our alignment with that, whether we know about it or not. And so it can give us great confidence that there are many, many cells of people like us doing the same thing in the same moment because we are dedicated to the highest that there is. Nobody but nobody is going to give us publicity because anybody who's doing anything else can't imagine what we are doing. And they're the ones who are pulling all the levers of material benefit. And that's not, we are interested in something much greater than that, which contains all material benefit anyway, so we can shrug our shoulders at that. Plus, you know, all of us are going to be out of here pretty soon in the big picture. And so it's really important for us to pay attention to what's important, and that's that alignment. And so it's a microcosm, macrocosm thing. It's to reassure us that we're really doing the highest best and that lots of other people are too, even though we can't see them, except in this 70 million demonstration of the Kumbh Mela, which is like everybody saying, we are in union with God. And we don't really care about anything else. That's what India has been about for centuries. And, you know, everybody else just looks at them like, what are they doing? Because they don't really understand that it's about alignment. And that alignment is not about controlling all the wealth. I mean, that's a joke. You know, the Indian people looked at the white man and said, like, who could own a tree? You know, what's property? And in the big picture, that's, you know, material gain is nonsense. You know, nobody can own a tree. It grows because it grows. And the simplicity of what's real is stunning. And the complexity of what's not real is dazzling. You know, it's the endless kaleidoscopic, you know, fireworks of, and it can become amusing to watch if you stop identifying with some idea that it has power over us. And when we think it has power over us, we're giving away our power. And so shriveling in the face of the dynamic of the change is it's like shriveling in the face of I don't know how to say this, Donald Trump has this magnetic power that comes from the cosmos that completely distracts people. We read something yesterday that was amazing. It said the people who voted for Trump don't listen to him seriously, but they react to his magnetic power. And the people that listen to him seriously, they end up frightened by the magnetic power in reaction to it. And neither one is the truth. The person didn't say that, we're saying that. Neither one of those things is true. When we get frightened, we give away our power. You can see like 4 billionaires who just did that. Fright, fear of the future, and fear of being left out, fear of missing something. They just gave $1 million and will do whatever he says because they're afraid. They have no reason to be afraid. They can buy themselves out of anything. But, what's real power? 70 million people. And all the people who are in solidarity with that they don't know about, that we don't know about. But the real power is loving God. It's so simple. And not bowing in fear to anything. Just love God in this moment with everything you have. Love God in this moment with everything you have. And you might actually end up loving yourself, like just for a minute, to feel that, to allow yourself to feel that connection so deeply that you can say, wow, I love myself because I am God. And I'm clearing out everything that's not that. And so this is a loving endeavor of becoming more full of this love in every moment, because everything that's not that is just not important. This is what death cleaning really is. It's getting rid of everything that's not important so that we're nothing but love, pure love in ourselves. And then we're ready to die because it's just love merging with love. And who cares what plane we're on when we're there? which is not to in any way minimize the value of death cleaning. That was a wonderful conversation, and I'm glad we are having it because it's, clearing out the dead wood is really what we're doing in ourselves. That which is dead and sucking the life out of us, let's let go of it already and be the love that we are and become the total light. And then everybody we shine on will shine right back at us because that's all we're offering. And the other thing we're going to say is that as a world, to make the choices that serve the highest, we need to see what's not that so that we can throw it out and say, this is not what we choose to be or how we choose to be reflected. And so if we don't see it, we can't address it. And so these are all things that have been very present for a very long time, but shoved under the carpet. They are now in our face. And we're talking about the collective hour. And, this incredible magnetism that this person has, even though they're, not a serious person, is, as humanity, we have to understand what's real. And so this enormous contrast has presented itself. And this is how we learn. We learn through contrast. We see what we don't want, so we choose what we want.
They say that this hasn't occurred in 144 years. For every 144 years, this happens. And I'm assuming that has something to do with Jupiter. Does that?
Jupiter takes a year to go through a house. So in 12 years, Jupiter has gone through the entire horoscope. Every 12 years. So, 12 times 12 is a very important moment. And so that's all we can say is because we haven't really researched the Kumbh Mela and how they choose the date of it, but we're sure it's auspicious. That's everything to do with Jupiter is auspicious because Jupiter is the guru for the entire solar system. Not the galaxy, but the solar system. I have no idea why they said that.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
21 after. Oh my God. I was just told that it's 21 after. That went way too fast. Did we address everything you wanted us to? Oh, you went away. Okay.
I
Yeah.
have a quick question, very practical.
Doesn't have to
How
be
do we,
quick.
oh, okay. Uh, how do we proceed if we want more information? And how does the thing that you offered about the chart um, project come about?
Okay.
And how do we do
Uh,
this?
oh, well, you have Zoom, clearly, so it will
Right.
be
Well, we
over
can do that.
Zoom. So you won't have
It
to
will
go,
be over Zoom.
it'll be over Zoom, so you won't have to go anywhere. And
That's really good.
yes. So if you can figure out how to email conversations with Anasa, or, you're very good at snail mailing me.
I
So
am.
snail mail me, tell you what I'll do. Yeah, no, snail mail me when you would like this to happen. And we'll say choose a date in February, and uh, we'll do it.
Okay.
Um,
Hey,
is there is there a way you can receive email?
yes.
And can you
Um,
can you email back, like schedule things? Can you email me your available time, and I can email you back a time I'm
yes,
available?
we can have an email conversation. It's my husband is the one who does laptop things.
Okay.
And
Well,
but
email
he
conversations with Anasa at gmail.com.
Gmail.com. Mhm. Okay.
And just title it Astrology Meeting or Astrology Consult. Say that.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for asking. That was probably not just your question, we hope. So we are so totally, totally grateful to be here with you. Mm. It's just unbelievably potent for us. So, with that thought, let's go back to the experience that brings us here and do that one more time. So, take your attention inside and feel into the beauty of the magnificent relationship we have to the whole of life itself. Thank you so much for coming today. It's been amazing to be with you. I'm so grateful. Till next time, so much love.